Welcome to the Eczema Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Julia Chen. I'm here to help you heal your eczema naturally so you can finally live your best damn life. Many years ago in my own eczema healing journey, I was stuck and confused on how to heal my skin. Fast forward to today, after many lessons learned and lots of trial and error, I'm now living my best life and traveling the world with clearer skin. If you're an eczema or TSW warrior who desires a life of food freedom and is wanting to heal your skin without steroids while using mindset and manifestation as a tool, you're in the right place. Now let's get into it. Welcome back to the Eczema Warrior podcast. I feel like sometimes I say eczema, sometimes I say eczema. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth. But anyways, it's the same word. It's just that as Canadians, we call it eczema. And then in the United States and everywhere else in the world, you guys call it eczema. But I think I have mostly American listeners on here. So maybe I should just stick with eczema. Anyways, I'm excited because today's episode is all about meal planning. As busy entrepreneurs, busy moms, busy parents, just busy people in general, meal planning and thinking about your diet and thinking about what to eat, preparing your meals can seem very overwhelming. And so in today's episode, we're going to jump right into how to exactly meal plan for inflammation, for chronic symptoms in a very easy and effortless way as much as possible. Now, before we dive into it, if you haven't listened to the last episode, which is all about the truth about anti-inflammatory diets, highly recommend it because I talked all about a lot of the food noise and diet culture that's really been coming up for a period of time now, but I feel like it's something that I wanted to debunk and talk about what inflammation really is, why anti-inflammatory diets might not work for you depending on your journey and your symptoms and you as an individual person, and diving into the research around seed oils because I know that's been a hot topic. So if you haven't checked out the episode, it's episode 120, just the one right before this, then I highly recommend you listening to it. In other news, the day of this episode is being released, I'm actually on a plane. I'm heading over to London and then I'm going to this amazing, I've never been, but I know it's amazing because it looks amazing. Tomorrowland Festival, which is happening in Belgium. So I'll be there for the weekend, listening to music, dancing my face off. I am so excited. If you want to follow along, I don't know if you guys are kind of curious about my personal life, I guess, then head on over to my Instagram. So I'll probably be posting a few pictures and videos of my Tomorrowland trip. So without further ado, let's get into the episode and how we can start helping you with meal planning. So first of all, when it comes to meal planning, it's really important that you plan ahead, which is why we call it meal planning, right? Because we want to plan ahead. But it's not just about thinking about, okay, I'm going to prep my meals, this is what I'm going to eat. It's more about actually finding a day and a time in the week where you can actually meal prep the foods that you want to eat. Because I don't know about you guys, but every week for me is different, right? Some days I'm busier than others. Some days I can't meal prep on Sundays because I have like events. And now that it's summer, everyone's so busy, right? There's always something on the weekday and even on the weekend. So you do want to plan ahead of time. And what I like to do is actually look at my calendar for the week and pick out a time and day where I have a couple hours to meal prep for a few days. For example, my Sundays and Mondays are more free than my Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I'll make sure on either Sunday or Monday, I'll meal prep for a few days. And the reason why I say a few days is because I typically don't recommend meal prepping the same meal for 5 days in a row. First of all, by the end of the third day, you'll probably be sick of that meal. Second of all, it's probably not going to be as fresh. So what I recommend is pick a day in the week, whether it's Sunday or Monday, put it into your calendar, block it off for 2 hours or more, and then just have enough food that can last you 3 days. That way the food's going to be a lot more fresh, and then you can have more variety in your diet as well, which is really important because if we're meal planning for inflammation, we want to make sure that we're getting lots of different vegetables, aiming for at least 20 to 30 different plants in a week, which sounds like a lot, but once we dive into your actual meals, it's really not. It's definitely achievable. But I recommend meal prepping for a few days that will last you for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then if you have time on Wednesday, you can do a small little meal prep to last you until Thursday and Friday, which is really just a few meals, right? So in that way, you have a variety in your diet. You actually have a set time to plan your meals. Now, of course, if you're someone that really doesn't have time to meal prep again on a Wednesday, that's okay. We understand that life is busy, especially with the summertime. Let's do it for 5 days, right? Maybe you need to freeze the remaining 2 days so it stays fresh and you have to remember to defrost it ahead of time. And then for variety, we can just switch up the vegetables that you put into your meal prep. Maybe you'll cook fresh vegetables every couple days so you're getting a variety of nutrients, but we can talk about that as well. The other option that you can do too is maybe you'll meal prep for 4 days, right? Monday to Thursday, and Friday is the day where you eat out at a restaurant or you order takeout, and that's also perfectly fine as well. You can heal your body and heal your skin and your gut from eating outside foods. We also have to remember that, and this is you hearing from a dietitian, okay? You don't need to cook all of your meals and eat organic and eat healthy and all these perfect meals in order to support your gut microbiome and in order to relieve some of the inflammatory symptoms that you might be experiencing. It's really about your overall lifestyle and your overall diet that will support that, right? So we don't want to start nitpicking every meal, every ingredient, which is why you should listen to the last episode and start looking at the bigger picture. So don't worry if you need to eat out a couple days a week. When you're picking your meals out, do your best to focus on the main nutrients, which we'll talk about, and choosing those balanced meals. Okay, so now that you have an idea of what meal planning will look like throughout the week, let's talk about what to exactly prep. So if you're someone who gets up really early in the morning and you don't have time to make a breakfast, here are some really easy breakfast ideas that you can meal prep the night before or even a couple nights before. You can make some overnight oats. So you can grab a mason jar. I've got my mason jar here. Sorry, it looks disgusting, but I just had a smoothie. Get a mason jar, put in half a cup of oats, mix it in with some hot water or your choice of milk. Pour in a teaspoon of chia seeds, add in a handful of berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. These are in season right now in the summer. Super high in antioxidants, very good for your gut microbiome and your skin. Add in some flax seeds, which are a good source of healthy fats. Maybe you want to sprinkle on some nuts and seeds, whether that's walnuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. These are good sources of healthy fats and protein, and it's really great for hormonal balance for my ladies out there. It's super easy. You throw it into the fridge and then you can take it with you to work the next day. What's important in this overnight oat is to add a protein powder. So breakfast is usually the most challenging meal to get your protein in. Proteins usually comes from meat products, so chicken, fish, turkey. Those are good protein sources, but we typically don't eat that first thing in the morning. Other sources of protein come from plant-based proteins. Tofu, beans and legumes are good sources of protein, and you get a little bit of protein in nuts and seeds as well. However, in the morning, if you're having your overnight oats, it doesn't give you that much protein. Oats gives you a little bit of protein. Half a cup is about 5 grams of protein. If you add some chia seeds, some nuts and seeds here and there, it's probably going to give you another 5 grams. So that's around 10 grams of protein, and that's definitely not enough to support healing. We want to aim for at least 25 to 30 grams of protein, which is why the protein powder is really helpful for that, because one scoop will usually give you 20 to 25 grams depending on the brand. So I would suggest adding a protein powder into your overnight oats so we can boost that protein amount. Another really good breakfast that's easy to make in the morning is Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is super high in protein as well. Some of the Greek yogurt brands gives you 19 grams of protein per 3/4 of a cup, which is perfect because all you got to do is add in some seeds, add in some nuts, and you're likely around 25 grams. Then you always want to make sure you're pairing a protein, which is your yogurt, to a fiber. So add in your fruits. This is the perfect time right now to get your fruits in because it's summer, right? Lots of stone fruits are in season, berries are in season. Add it into your morning breakfast and that'll give you really good prebiotics and fiber that supports the gut barrier, the gut microbiome, and also helps to reduce reduce inflammation in the body. Oatmeals and yogurts are really easy to make in the morning meal prep. And then the last option would be eggs. Eggs, if you guys can tolerate it, are a great source of protein. However, typically it's not enough to meet protein needs again because one egg gives you 6 grams of protein. Unless you're eating 5 eggs, which gives you 30 grams, again, you're going to be short with the protein amount. So what I usually recommend if you want to have eggs in the morning is to pair it with something that's high in protein. So if you have 2 boiled eggs, right, you bring with you to work, that's 12 grams, then we're missing around another 10 to 15 grams of protein. So maybe you'll have a side smoothie, right? Smoothies are really easy to make. Inside your smoothie, you're going to put in your protein powder, your berries, your leafy greens like kale and spinach, your nuts and seeds, and then that will help make it into a balanced meal in the morning with your 2 eggs. Or you can pair your 2 eggs with your Greek yogurt. Maybe you'll have a sourdough toast with some peanut butter on top. It's really about mix and matching. So we get different colors and variety as well as protein. So those are your go-to breakfast options. You can start meal prepping on your Sunday and have it ready to go throughout the week. As for lunches, honestly, the world is your oyster. You can prepare anything that, have a palate for, right? I know everyone has their own preference when it comes to different meals and spices and flavors, different salads or cooked meals, but typically what you want to do is always have a protein. I think I'm kind of been emphasizing that a lot is protein at every single meal, fiber at every single meal, and a good quality carb at every single meal as well. And a healthy fat too. So a protein source can look like some type of meat, fish, chicken, turkey, maybe some grass-fed beef. I'm not a huge fan of red meat because I know it can be a trigger for people with digestive issues and even skin issues. However, if you can tolerate it and you don't have symptoms flaring up, then that's perfectly fine. You want to have a protein source, some vegetables. Maybe you'll saute a big pot of vegetables with broccoli, carrots, peppers, onions, garlic. Think of colors of the rainbow. That will be your fiber source. And then a healthy carb can look like brown rice, quinoa, even root veggies like sweet potatoes and potatoes could be a good healthy carb to add into your meal prep. Sometimes meal prepping and cooking these meals can seem like a lot. So for those of you who are really, really busy, you can even grab a bag of those pre-made salads from Costco. They have this kale one that I really like. So grab yourself a pre-made salad, use the dressing that's there if it's easy for you, and then add your own protein source. So maybe you'll make a salmon fillet, you'll make a piece of chicken breast, right? Bring that with your salad, with your dressing, and that will be considered a complete balanced meal. For your protein, you always want to make sure you aim for this size amount. That will meet your 30 grams of protein, even more. So if you can eat that amount, then that is going to be really, really supportive for inflammation and the gut, skin, and hormones. If your meals are more than 4 or 5 hours apart, and this typically happens between lunch and dinner. A lot of you eat lunch at work, and maybe that's at 12 o'clock and you won't get home until 7 p.m. That's way too long of a gap to not eat any food. So this is why it's really important to pack a high protein snack in between meals that are more than 4 to 5 hours apart. A high protein snack can include Greek yogurt, add some berries in it, maybe crackers with hummus or crackers with a nut butter, protein shake, and have that shake in between your meals. This will help with balancing your blood sugars, which is really, really, really important. We don't want to be skipping meals. We want to make sure that we have something to fuel our body in between these larger gaps in between your meal. And then dinner time is when you're home and you're able to prep a meal. Dinner is not really a meal that we meal prep because you're probably home at that time and you want to be able to cook fresh dinners. So in that case, dinners can be something that you maybe want to put more time into. Make some chicken stir fry, add in some rice, add in some different colors of vegetables. Maybe you want to make a nice curry stew, add in some coconut milk, add in your beans and lentils like chickpeas. Dinner, usually you have more time to make versus lunch is the meal prep that you take with you to work. Personally, for me, when I'm super busy and I'm back to back with client calls and I really don't have time to make like a nicer lunch or dinner, I make salmon. Salmon is so easy and quick to make. 4 minutes on one side, 4 minutes on the other side, and you've got your protein source. I'll take one of those Costco pre-made salads, I'll put it into a bowl, put my dressing on it, have that as a meal, and that is perfectly fine as well. If you have an air fryer, that makes things so much easier as well. You can go into your client meetings if it's during the evening. If you have to go take care of your kids, just throw everything in the air fryer. It'll be ready in 15 minutes. Perfect. Then again, we can pair it with a salad. I will say, if you have digestive issues and constipation, salads actually may be hard to digest. So I don't actually recommend eating raw foods all the time, and I recommend switching your vegetables between raw and cooked, preferably cooked. You can also cook vegetables very easily. Instead of needing to stand on the stove and stir fry everything, grab a big pan, throw all your vegetables in it, and roast them in the oven. It takes no more than 20 to 30 minutes, right? And then it's all ready to go. You got your vegetables, you've got your air fryer chicken, and maybe you've made some rice on the side. So meal planning can be super easy. We don't have to make meals complicated. Just remember, as long as you have a protein, you've got some vegetables, you've got a healthy carb, then you're good to go. And then of course, finding the time in the week to meal prep the meals that you have to bring with you to work, and having a high protein snack in between meals if you need it. Now, the last thing I want to remind you guys before we end off this episode is I want you to start ditching the food obsession. I talked about this a little bit in the last episode, but I want you to not focus on specific ingredients and needing to eliminate certain foods or having to eat perfectly and all these things, right? What matters more is what you're consistently eating. Again, it's going back to the full picture. What does your diet generally look like? Are we having protein, fats, and fiber? Are we not skipping meals? Because that's super key when it comes to healing inflammation. Are you balancing your blood sugars by having a high protein snack when you need it? And not to forget lifestyle habits too when it comes to the full picture. Like, are you sleeping enough? Are you managing your stress? Right? All of these things help you with your inflammation, but it also helps you with meal planning too, right? Because if you aren't sleeping and you're stressed, you won't want to meal prep. It's not just about focusing on eating organic and eating healthy. It's looking at the general picture. If you want support when it comes to this and you're like, Julia, you know what? I know that I'm supposed to do these things, but I want some guidance. I want some support. I need some accountability. That's what I'm here for. I'm a registered dietitian. I can literally help you with your meal planning, help you with looking at your diet and seeing what we can improve on. I offer a free consultation call so we can talk about what your goals are, what you're looking for support in. You can go to the show notes and apply and book a call, and then talk about how we can support you. All right, that's it for today's episode, and enjoy your summer, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your day. And I am now off to Tomorrowland. So excited. We will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Now, before I let you go, I want to let you know I have this amazing eczema visualization. This visualization has helped me so much when it comes to manifesting eczema healing flares faster than I can ever imagine, reducing the itch, and just feeling great in my body. This is the exact same visualization I use for my own healing as well as my clients' healing as well. And if you want to receive this visualization, then all you have to do is leave us a review, tell us what you think about the podcast, screenshot it, send it to your email at hello@juliachin.ca, and you will receive the visualization to your inbox. I look forward to seeing your review, and we will see you in the next episode.